What is up, everybody? Crustless Crypto here, back in a video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. At 2,500 subscribers, I'll be giving away $150 worth of eagles, so make sure you guys are supporting the channel. I have consolidated all of my links into a link tree. I'm finally with the times, guys. So if you guys would like to check out everything from my social media to content, and you want to make special video requests or donate to the channel as well, it's all going to be on this link tree link. I'll put it in the comment section down below and description on this video and new videos from here on out. All right, guys, so everybody's been talking about the SAITO coin lately, and I actually wanted to do a little bit of research myself. So this video is going to be talking about the SAITO token. We're going to take a deep dive inside of it, looking at everything from the white paper to the tokenomics. Make sure you guys are getting comfortable, and let's get right to it. So first, guys, we're going to be looking at SAITO's price. We're going to be talking about what SAITO exactly is in a minute here, but I like to look at the initial price. So as we can see here, it's actually at 5 cents, 5.2 cents. It's got a circulating supply of 1.07 billion SAITO. The max supply is 10 billion. And the total supply right now is at 3 billion. As you guys can see here, the market cap is super low at $55 million. So this coin has a lot of room to grow. It is ranked currently 579. It is listed as a token right now, and you can actually get it on these exchanges. Probably Gate.io is probably going to be your most easiest bet, swapping it for USDT. And it's important to know here, guys, that if you're looking for a low cap gem, this could potentially be it. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, but what we're going to be talking about in this video is going to give you some evidence of why that is the case. So they do have a GitHub. I'll put all the links in the description down below me here, but what they say here on this GitHub is SAITO is a layer 1 blockchain that pays nodes in the peer-to-peer network instead of miners or stakers, delivering a permissionless and scalable network capable of powering decentralized versions of Twitter, Facebook, and Amazon without the need for predatory monopolies in the network layer. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. There's a lot more that I'm going to be talking about with this, but they do have a GitHub. It actually provides everything that you need to know about SAITO, from beginner videos, articles, interview videos, applications, town hall videos, development. So everything that's been tracking with the SAITO ecosystem, the SAITO network in a way, or the token for now, you can find it on this GitHub. So it is a one-stop shop for actually learning and getting down and gritty with the SAITO token and learning everything about it. Now, jumping right into the website here, it doesn't present you any kind of flashy images or graphics, but what they say here is scalability for Web 3.0. Provides you a live demo and building on SAITO. It says here SAITO again is a layer 1 blockchain that pays nodes in the P2P network instead of miners or stakers. So revolutionizing an entirely new way of conducting a blockchain. With that said, they do have a lot of links here: email, Discord, they have Telegram, Twitter, so they are connected here. Now if we scroll down here, we actually look at some important concepts from this SAITO token. Now it says powerful application, SAITO powers games, communication tools, social media apps, and other data and bandwidth intensive applications. Peer-to-peer Web3 toolkit, libraries that support everything from QR generation and scanning to ZKP based gaming functions. The Polkadot ecosystem, SAITO applications come with full support for Polkadot and other leading Web3 blockchains. App deployment, open app store that lets developers build and deploy apps without the need to run any type of infrastructure. Proper economics and elegant economic design that solves fundamental scaling problems. Enterprise PKI support, a scalable PKI network layer designed to handle enterprise level key exchange and encryption requirements. Open infrastructure, SAITO funds the rollout of infrastructure for other networks as well as its own. And then lastly here, a vibrant community, a growing community of users interested in and excited about the applications wanted to build. So a lot of stuff out of the box here, just kind of my first impressions, right? When I first went on this website, they are giving a lot of content, a lot of things that they're pretty much all about. Now, they do have a little community chat box here. So as you guys can see here, you can play games with the Polkadot, and it fully supports it. Now, scrolling down here, it talks about the simple Web3 development, the truly peer-to-peer, scalable on-chain data, browser applications without MetaMask, which is pretty cool, and all with the tools you know and love So I believe that's JavaScript. They say here 40,000 plus transactions a day and growing, over 10 million plus transactions, and 30 plus popular applications and modules. They have a roadmap here starting from fundraising, then legal structures and public sales. Now they're in the arcade and community growth. We're going to be looking at their arcade in just a second here. Team expansion, and then social and traditional marketing, and they have a lot of stuff on fundraising. They do have a decent timeline here, and as they can see here, they have quite a bunch of supporters, people who are invested into this technology. Now, clicking on the link How SAITO Works, which is right above here, they say welcome to the SAITO project. Now they state here, what is SAITO? An initial kind of brief here. SAITO is an open network that runs cryptocurrency applications in browsers without any type of plugins, private APIs, and non-open infrastructure. SAITO survives without an owner while funding the nodes that provide user-facing infrastructure for its own network and other public blockchains. If you are new to SAITO, you might enjoy our quick video introductions on what problems SAITO solves, or jump to trying out the network by visiting our community-driven SAITO Arcade. For developers interested in building applications or adding support for other cryptocurrencies, our developer section has technical information and tutorials that will get you started. And coding on SAITO is really very easy. Our introductory tutorial covering how to build and deploy your first application takes about 5 minutes to complete. So they're all about getting developers on the SAITO network and building on top of it. Now, clicking on the URL that takes us to the video, it is a 6-minute long video talking about the magic of routing work. And it is basically an introduction to the SAITO consensus and everything that has to do with the SAITO network. Now, I will be looking at the white paper, so it's pretty much going to be breaking down what SAITO's kind of solutions and goals are, what its overall vision is. So we'll be talking about that in just a second here. Now, taking a look at their arcade, also linked on the website, they have many different games from blackjack, chess, red imperium. A lot of things are in alpha and beta. So, for example, if I was to click chess, you would have to register with a username. I'll probably will register and do this in a later video. Pretty cool to see a kind of an arcade, and it's actually on the SAITO network from what I'm seeing here, and it's actually fully compatible with the Polkadot blockchain. So we'll have to see exactly how this plays out and exactly what they're going to be doing with this arcade. What is its purpose, when I can just go on my Windows applications and open up the chess app as well. But I do like it here. Again, I'm a big fan of purple, and you can play games on the blockchain, so that's pretty cool. This is probably the cream of the crop. I went through the white paper. It's only 6 pages long, and I highlighted probably the most important parts of it. I'm going to be giving my input on them. Now, if you guys would like to skip ahead, make sure you guys, again, click the timestamps, but let's talk about it. So it says here, the SAITO consensus fixing the market failures in Bitcoin. And this was created on December 24th, 2020, so about 2 years now, or a year. I'm sorry, and it's at version 4.0.1. So I highlighted a lot of stuff that kind of stuck out to me. So in the abstract here, it says SAITO fixes the collective action problems that impede scaling in proof of work and proof of stake blockchains by coupling a circular ledger to a consensus mechanism that incentivizes the collection and sharing of transaction fees. The resulting network pays not just for mining and staking, but for all the activities that contribute to economic value to the network. In the process, SAITO fully eliminates majoritarian among other attacks. So this is something that kind of stuck out to me. They're actually moving away from proof of work and proof of stake and introducing an entirely new concept that I have never seen in the crypto space. Now, scrolling down here, it states SAITO pays user-facing infrastructure nodes out of an open consensus mechanism. Because this approach scales naturally, it incentivizes the processing of large amounts of data and can be used to build decentralized versions of many data-heavy services, such as an unastroturfable data exchanges, authentication and monetization applications, distributed key registries that are secure from MITM attacks, payment channels, and much more. The design corrects the collective action problems inherent in the proof of work and proof of stake mechanisms so that profit-seeking actors compete to bring money into the network, permitting scalability to the point that underlying network hardware rather than economic constraints impose limits on blockchain growth. We believe the practical limit for a SAITO blockchain today is in the order of 100 terabytes of data per day, and advances in routing capacity will push us to the petabyte level within a decade. And I'm pretty sure a petabyte is 1,000 terabytes, so that's a lot of data. They stay here for proof of work and proof of stake networks are afflicted by 2 market failures, a tragedy of the common problems that lead to blockchain bloat and eventual collapse, and a free rider problem that leads to an under-provision of user-facing network infrastructure and an over-provision of paid activities like mining and staking. Neither problem is crippling at small scale, but they grow incapacitating as bandwidth and storage costs rise. So basically what they're saying is that on the small scale, these problems are not a big deal, but they will compound and snowball and actually create a bigger catastrophic one in the long term. Now they say here, what limits network growth is the challenge of paying for the network. Someone needs to front the bill on maintaining the network and keeping it operational. They state here the tragedy of the commons issue is created by the existence of the permanent ledger, which encourages nodes to accept payment today for work that can be offloaded to others tomorrow. This incentive leads to bloated blockchains and more subtlety to transaction mispricing, as users can pay fees that do not reflect the true cost of their transaction to the overall network. The fact that this is a fundamental problem is self-evident from the way Satoshi's solution is not to care, an approach that stops being viable in networks that operate at serious economic scale. They state here the free rider problem is more insidious. It arises in blockchains where payments are made for one specific type of work, such as mining or staking, at the expense of other necessary activities. This mismatch incentivizes participants to maximize their spending on paid work and minimize spending on anything else. In the blockchain space, that results in miners and stakers free riding on those who do the unpaid work of collecting fees or developing applications or otherwise supporting the user-facing network. The problem gets worse as the network scales and evolutionary pressures make the trap inescapable. Any Bitcoin miner that spends a smaller percent of its revenue on hashing than its more altruistic peers will lose market share until it also capitulates. So for me, my takeaway from this was that people who are staking and mining are focusing so much on that specific role, they neglect other parts of the blockchain that keep it running. Big problem with free riding, right, as it says here, as when the network gets bigger, miners, right, so any Bitcoin miner spends a smaller percent of its revenue on hashing than its more altruistic peers, they'll start to lose market share because they will not be able to compete with bigger players. Now, they state here that SAITO solves the blockchain creep by allowing the nodes of the network to delete the oldest blocks in the ledger at predictable intervals, known as epochs. Epoch length is specified in the consensus code. In extreme case, a blockchain designed to handle global traffic for distributed key exchange applications may have an epoch as short as 24 hours. SAITO specifies that once a block falls out of the current epoch, its unspent transaction outputs, labeled as UTXO, are no longer spendable. Now, they state here that the theoretical solution to the free rider problem requires eliminating the possibility of free riding, fixing the underlying incentive structure so that participants are paid for providing what the network actually needs. Let me repeat that, that's extremely important. Eliminating the possibility of free riding consists of fixing the underlying incentive structure so that participants are paid for providing what the network actually needs, not basically on those specific roles. They're going more than just mining or staking. They should be incentivizing people to perform what the network needs at any given time. Because the blockchain requires a quantifiable cost of attack, this requires eliminating mining and staking and shifting to a different form of work that measures and pays nodes in proportion to the value they provide to the network, instead of the amount of hashing or staking that they do. And this is probably one of the most important things that SAITO is trying to accomplish. They do not want to incentivize mining and staking. They want to incentivize value that people are providing to the network, not how much hashing and how much staking they're actually giving, but what exactly are they doing that the network needs. They state something here known as automatic transaction rebroadcasting, ATR, and the ATR mechanism fixes the tragedy of the problems commonly completely. The ATR mechanism fixes the tragedy of the commons problem completely, making it impossible for a blockchain to grow so big that it collapses. The key is ensuring that rebroadcasting fee paid by ATR transactions is a positive multiple of the average fee paid by new transactions over the previous epoch. As the blockchain expands and there is less space for new transactions available, market competition pushes up the fees paid by new transactions. This forces up the fees paid by older transactions and increases the amount of data pruned by the blockchain. So very interesting here what they want to do with the automatic transaction rebroadcasting, something I've never heard of or seen. They further state here that market discovery of the true cost of blockchain processing is a side effect of this incentive structure, which works by eliminating the incentive block producers have to add unprofitable data to the chain. This mechanism avoids problems with developers hard-coding economic variables and prevents subtle forms of free riding commonly found in other chains, which includes deleting on-chain data, refusing to store or share historical blocks, where pruning is done to save money. All such forms of cheating disappear because nodes that do not store the whole blockchain are incapable of producing new blocks, as they do not know which payments must be rebroadcasted. A lot of the concepts here are kind of complicated for people, and people don't really understand them. I'm not going to be lying to you here. There's a lot of things that I don't understand as well. But what I am taking away from this is that they want to incentivize what the blockchain needs. They want to get rid of mining and staking and just serving those roles. They want to expand that, and they want the blockchain to be a living, breathing organism that goes further than what is currently at right now. What they state here is to secure this mechanism, right, of automatic transaction rebroadcasting, SAITO has routing nodes cryptographically sign transactions as they propagate through the network. Consensus rules specify that the amount of routing work a transaction provides in a node drops with the number of hops in its routing path, and that transactions provide no usable routing work to nodes that are not in their routing path. The work used to produce blocks is the efficient collection and sharing of inbound network fees. So the mechanism that they're really labeling it as, they're calling it the golden ticket solution. Now they state this mechanism pays honest nodes for collecting fees regardless of who produces blocks. The trick is pulling this off in a way that ensures there's always a quantifiable cost to attacking the system. The practical solution is returning the transaction fees to the network through a process that cannot be gamed by any of the players in the network without spending far more money on the attack than they stand to benefit from collecting the payments. So high risk that would not even be worth it if they try to, basically. Now, as you guys can see here, they do provide an illustration of the golden ticket solution and all these different transactions, and then they have a little golden block here. They state here that the system has several major advantages over proof of work and proof of stake mechanisms. The most important is that SAITO explicitly distributes fees to the nodes that service users collect transactions and produce blocks, and does so in proportion to the amount of value that these actors provide to the overall network. Network nodes compete for access to lucrative inbound transaction flow and will happily fund whatever development activities are needed to get users on the network. Of note, the services provided by edge nodes to attract SAITO usage can include public-facing infrastructure needed by other blockchains. This is a fundamental shift where other blockchains explicitly define which activities have value. SAITO lets the users signal what services provide value through fee pricing, while the network infers who deserves payment. SAITO also incentivizes the efficient delivery of value to users, and by paying for value rather than a subset of network activities it provides, the only way to guarantee that a self-sufficient network can remain open and economically independent at scale. What I'm taking away from this is that they don't want to just incentivize people who are mining. They don't want to just incentivize people who are staking. They want to incentivize the users that are putting the most value on certain parts of the blockchain, right? So as we can see here, when they do called fee pricing, and incentivizing people who are delivering that value to users. So people who are actually responsible for, placing those values or operating the processes, applications, etc., that are creating that value, and fee pricing to begin with. The SAITO consensus mechanism is also twice as secure as its proof of work and proof of stake counterpoints. Honest nodes route transactions to block producers and earn fees in exchange. Attackers are thrown into a catch-22. They must not only spend the same amount of fees as the honest network to produce a competitive chain, but must also match 100% of mining output to find enough golden ticket solutions to recapture their funds. Even if attackers successfully launch fee recycling attacks, they must still spend 100% of their income on hashing, so it's not even worth it. The basic version of the SAITO system achieves 100% fee security, eliminating the 51% attack completely. Section 5 describes a modification to this mechanism that pushes security above 100% and guarantees that attackers will lose money in all circumstances. Regardless of which implementation is used, the economic problems created by mechanisms that rely on external supply curves vanish. Mining serves as a pure cost function instead of a difficulty function, and the blockchain remains secure even if the supply curve for hash power becomes perfectly flat. They want to maintain, right, maximize security by not even allowing people who are trying to exploit the system to make any money. They're going to be spending 100% of mining and hashing costs to even, offset any type of risk involved of trying to, take funds or to manipulate the blockchain. So this is very important and a very interesting concept that, I have not seen, and this is technology that they're trying to implement. To become stakers in the network, users broadcast a transaction containing a specifically formatted UTXO, and these UTXOs are added to a list of pending stakers on their inclusion in a block. Once the current staking table has been fully paid out, all pending staking UTXO are moved into the current staking table. To avoid throttling attacks on the staking mechanism, it is wise to not permit stakers to withdraw or spend staked UTXO until they have received the payment. So definitely a different staking process from other blockchains out there. So basically, in summary here, fundamental problems affecting blockchain scaling are economic. SAITO fixes these issues, allowing us to build a massively scalable blockchain which achieves scalability by ensuring that payments flow to the nodes that spend money on network infrastructure. Probably one of the most important things when it comes to a blockchain. Those who pore over the technical details of the SAITO network will find embedded in it at least 7 major innovations in blockchain technology: automated transaction rebroadcasting, the burn fee, the golden ticket system, pay split and pow split, in-block golden tickets, a secure multi-party voting mechanism, and the chain of cryptographic signatures that permits the blockchain to identify and reward productive nodes in the routing network. They're trying to revolutionize the way blockchains actually work and moving away from both proof of mining and proof of stake. Patent protection has been secured on these techniques, and we welcome contact from other blockchain projects looking to incorporate one or several of these methods in their own networks. So extremely powerful stuff, guys. This white paper really gets down and dirty with exactly what SAITO is about. A lot of interesting concepts I haven't seen in a blockchain before, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing this come into fruition. Now, Wesley Chris actually made a very long thread. I mean, he's the guy who put it on my radar. It's a very long thread, over 22, I believe, different tweets that are encompassing it. I will not cover it because you guys need to go and check it out yourself. At Wesley B. Crest, it's one of his tweets on there. Make sure you guys go and read it and follow him. This is really good information that he's putting out for us, and I do not want to steal his thunder. This is his tweet, and I want you guys to actually read it for yourself. So developers out there, he does say SAITO plus Elrond and eGold. So he's not picking one or the other, he's picking both. What Elrond eGold is doing to Ethereum plus SAITO will do to Infura and Tau on the network layer. So eGold is the smart contract layer number 1, and SAITO is the network layer. So two different types of expertise, so to say. eGold focusing more on smart contracts, and then SAITO focusing more on the network layer. And a very good point, and as you can see here, he compares it. King of smart contracts is Elrond, and then the king of networks is the SAITO network. So very interesting here. Wesley Chris does not really talk about coins unless he is fully behind them and does his research. So I can see why a lot of stuff is, coinciding just from reading the white paper, and stuff that's actually going to be implemented on the SAITO network is very powerful. We also have Vanessa Harris here talking about SAITO. She says, saw you liked SAITO, Dericado. Why do you think it's a worthy investment? I looked around their site, and it's not clear to me why a project would choose them over a high transaction per second L1, or if costs are actually prohibitive on an even higher TPS L2. A lot of people give awesome information here. Recursion here, he states, as stated before, it's not comparable to any other blockchain, as it's the only one that's self-sufficient and open. He even says here that the SAITO consensus is the most profound discovery since the Nakamoto's consensus. Even Wesley Crest interjects here. He says developers will choose SAITO because they can develop directly without having to deal with Infura or other paid services, and they can rapidly deploy in a completely decentralized way, or the inconvenience and high cost of having to set it up themselves. So again, decentralization is probably a main factor. And just from what they are trying to do with the routing, proof of routing, I would like to label it as their golden ticket system. Very, very interesting. And lastly, Dericado, he says here, it's higher risks, only 2.5% for now. They're not trying to be a store of value or L1. They're the only ones looking at handling the gaps of current consensus mechanisms. I'm still wrapping my head around the concepts. Also a Web3 grant recipient. We'll continue to dig in. and as well as myself, I need to look more into it, read the white paper, and figure out exactly what it means by, this golden ticket system, how the transactions are being processed, how the network is being maintained, and again, if they're not doing staking or mining on that level as other blockchains, what exactly are they doing? So again, guys, it's only at $55 million market cap. So we have a token here that has a potential to skyrocket and to explode. So just based on the technology and what they're trying to do, they already again have some products out with their arcade. So let me know in this comment section down below what you guys think of the SAITO network. Is it a good investment? Do you guys think it will be a nice profitable venture long term once they implement a lot of things and gets on people's radars? Let me know what you guys think. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm looking forward to covering more on this token and seeing exactly what they have to offer. So appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Have a good one.